Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. A modern backlit screen mod for the Wonderswan Color just came out in China. And it's my job to introduce this mod to the rest of the world. So here is the mod kit. It's actually from the same person who made the Taobao backlit screen mod for the Game Boy Color. Check out my very first episode for more details. Anyway, this backlit kit includes an IPS panel and the PCB that attached to it. And as usual, under the cover is where the magic happens. So first, let's take apart the original console. You need a Torx screwdriver, which is in the shape of a 6-point star. Open the back cover and unplug the ribbon cable of the screen. Take out all the rubber pads and buttons. Now pry open and take out the original screen. Since the backlit screen is a little bit bigger than the original screen, we need to do some trimming. The areas in the red color are where you have to trim, and those in yellow are optional, but I still recommend to do that. I will come back to this in a bit. Be very careful when you are trimming or cutting the shell, especially here at the screw post, because we still need it, so don't damage. And now put in the screen. Here, as you can see, there are 3 wires at the corner, and that's why I recommend to trim a hole on the frame to wear them through, but you can choose whatever works best for you. Here I changed one of the wires on the PCB because I found it too thick to fit. Now solder the red wire to the positive point of the battery, and solder the white wire to the negative point. Those are for powering the backlight. And finally, solder this thin wire to this point here. This is for the brightness adjustment. You can pause the video to see exactly where it is. And then I remove the 4 cotton pad things. Put everything back and plug in the ribbon cable. And finally, close the 2 halves together. At this point, I found it very difficult to fully close the shell. It turned out that this solder point is bumping out too much. So I marked it with a marker and then close the shell and let the mark reflect on the top. And then I trim both the shell and also the solder point just a little bit to make some room. This is still a very tight fit, so you may want to trim or cut some more plastics here and there to make the shell close well. Anyway, after some tweaks, I was finally able to close the 2 halves back together. And what about the result? Well, simply put, it's awesome. The image size is identical as the original screen, and it has great viewing angle and color is vivid and sharp. It even has a status bar on the right side which mimics the original screen, and that is amazing. Also, it has an integer scaling on each side, so it's pixel perfect with no screen tearing or shimmering. The original screen has a weird flash rate of 75 Hz, which is not very common. But I was told that this backlit screen has a higher flash rate and can handle this without any issue. And I didn't notice any frame drop or slowdown during gameplay. Compatibility-wise, I have tested with multiple cartridges, as well as the flash card from Flashmaster, and they all work flawlessly as far as I can tell. One minor issue is that I found some light bleeding on the edges when the background is pure white, but it's not very noticeable during gameplay. The Wonderswan Color has a contrast wheel that is supposed to adjust the contrast, but after this mod, the wheel does not work anymore. However, you do have the ability to adjust the brightness. Holding down the sound button will cycle through the brightness level, as you can see in this video. I asked the seller if he can utilize the contrast wheel to adjust the brightness, and he said that it is doable, but due to the way it was designed, you will see some flickering when adjust the brightness by rolling the wheel, and the flickering will get even worse when the battery is low, and that's why he used the sound button to adjust the brightness as a workaround. Another thing is that I was told that this backlit kit also works for the crystal model, but I don't own one so I cannot test it. But I did see that other people in China have posted pictures and verified that, and I think it might be even better to mod the crystal since it does not have the contrast wheel. However, the downside of this mod is that the battery life is significantly short, especially when you are using the flashcard. I was never able to get a playtime over 2 hours with one battery, and that is a bummer. And for the price, this backlit kit sells for 900 Chinese yuan, which is about $127 US, plus international shipping if you are outside China. And that is definitely not for everybody. And finally, I'd like to mention that at the time I'm filming this, I found another backlit mod for Wonderswan Color online, but that mod does not have the status bar as this one does, so I personally prefer this one. Despite the high price, I still think this is the best way to play Wonderswan and Wonderswan Color games, given the fact that the button layout is so unique and it can be played vertically. Just remember to keep an eye on the battery level. So that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Goodbye, 再见.